White people do not have empathy.
Hi, everybody. Auntie speaks. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me get out to more people. So, as you might have noticed, I'm doing a lot of these TikTok reactions lately because I went down a rabbit hole on TikTok, and I've never met so many racist people. I'm always kind of shocked at what people will say into a camera, and I want to get it out to the world because everything that these people are saying is racist. Now, they would say that they can't be racist because they're black. Okay, but then let's look up racist. What is racist? Having, reflecting, or fostering the belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities. Now, you can see at the end there, they talk about superiority of a particular race. That's been added. It didn't used to say that. No, that's CRT in action right there. That's oppressor versus oppressed. Yes. And that's why she probably claims to everybody, including herself, that she is not racist and she cannot be a racist. But when you take an entire group of people and you say, this is what they are because of the color of their skin, you are a racist. Let's see how much of a racist she is.
White people don't have empathy. And it is evident more so now than I think at any time in my life. I'm 53 years old. And the things that I see now that demonstrate the lack of empathy in white people is much different than things I saw maybe 20 or 30 years ago. One very simple way and example of non-empathetic white people that I see is in the justification of excuses of why black people are treated in certain ways and the callousness and insensitivity overtly towards black people. One example is how white people themselves as adults and white people are allowing their children to dress up like Jeffrey Dahmer.
So white people, all white people, according to you, have no empathy because some people for a Halloween costume allowed themselves to dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer. Let me ask you a question. Why would Jeffrey Dahmer be so triggering to black people? I don't understand. I really don't understand because a portion of his victims were black. What does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with you that happened to be his sexual preference? Most people who are killed by a serial killer are white. I hate to tell you this because most serial killers are white. Yes, I think there's been like only 3 or 4 black serial killers. And I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 even Hispanic serial killers. So serial killer tends to be a white thing. I don't know what it is, but so people tend to kill within their own race. That's what they tend to do. So if someone wants to dress up as the Hillside Strangler, I don't know how you would dress up as them, or the Son of Sam, is that person being insensitive to white people? Well, no, but because we don't identify ourselves with the Son of Sam's victims because of the color of our skin.
If Jeffrey Dahmer had killed white people, if he had killed any other ethnic group of people, there's no way he would be celebrated and people would be dressing like him for Halloween. It speaks to a lot of, callousness, right?
So she talks about it quite a bit. And if you don't watch TikTok, you're probably like, what? This doesn't make any sense. But it's actually like a huge theme on TikTok that because of the Jeffrey Dahmer series, because it was so popular, the reason why it was so popular was because Jeffrey Dahmer killed like a bunch of black people. But Jeffrey Dahmer did not just kill black people. He probably a fourth of his victims, I don't know if half, but at least a fourth of his victims were white. So I just don't understand. But this is like a huge thing on TikTok. We'll bring in this other lady who is complaining about it as well.
Your white ancestors killed 8 slaves, used my people's body parts to make items, furniture, and you're surprised down the line there was a cannibalistic white man who was going around killing and eating black and brown bodies?
Yeah, that is that brown girl, and she gets her own video. She's going to get her very own little video. But there are tons of things out there like this. And I don't know where they got this, that white slave owners ate their slaves. I don't know where they're getting this. But this Dahmer thing is like, dude, I mean, I don't understand why you think that you need to empathize with Dahmer's victims.
Also speaks to the role that epigenetics plays and the role that grooming, conditioning, and indoctrination play in how we develop empathy. White people just don't have it. And you have to really go back and think about, the colonizers, right? Or the Mayflower descendants, as I refer to them, right? In order for them to do what they did, in order for them to genocide the indigenous natives and then utilize stolen human beings from Africa, right? African people to build up this country and then to lie about it and pretend that that's not how things happened, has to happen from a place of non-empathy.
So, okay. So she mentions epigenetics. Now, I've seen this on a couple of different TikTok videos now. I don't know where this comes from, but there is a section of people in education who believe that your genetics change over time, and stuff that happened to your ancestors will change you now. Like if you were a slave way back when, then your genetics changed. If you were a white person way back when, your genetics changed because other white people had slaves. It's just freaking crazy. I don't know where this comes from, but this is actually becoming pretty prevalent on TikToks, where there is a large class of people who basically believe that white people are genetically damaged. That's what they believe. Now, this is incredibly dangerous. To tell people that a certain group of people is genetically damaged has been done in the past. It has. And it's led to some really bad things, i.e., that little guy in Germany. But they did the same thing here in America with slaves. Because after our Constitution, where we wrote down all men are created equal, they had to come up with some pretty weird shenanigans to justify slavery. So exactly what she's talking about leads to genocide and slavery. When you take an entire group of people and you basically say they're genetically damaged, that's how violence happens. That's how you dehumanize a group of people. And the only way that you can create violence against a group of people is to dehumanize them. Now, I don't know if these people don't realize what they're doing. I think they do. But you hear the same tropes over and over and over again. White people are genetically damaged. White people oppressed us. We genocided the American Indians. Yeah, right. Take a look at my last video, okay? Yeah, sorry, dude. Half of the Native Americans on the American continent died of disease. That's not a genocide. We didn't even know what germs were at that time. We had no clue that something like that could happen. And we have no empathy. That's why we could do slavery. Yeah, that's why. So that means all of human history, nobody, black, white, Native American, Indian, Asian, South American, Aztec, Mayan, any person you can think of on the face of the planet, basically before the 1600s, had no empathy because everybody owned slaves. Holy Hannah, who do you think sold us the black slaves? It was black tribes who sold us the black slaves. Did they have no empathy? Well, they must have empathy because they're black. Only white people don't have empathy. This is super, super, super dangerous.
Those people, those are the ones who have no empathy. Those people are the same ones, right, who work in corporate America in fields like HR and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and in accessibility and all those types of roles, right? And don't do anything to assure that black women are paid fairly. It's been almost 60 years since the Equal Pay Act, and black women are now making 58 cents on the dollar compared to a white man for the same job. And
so we're back to the pay gap. Even though every economist worth his salt has demolished this argument. They tried to push this under the Obama years with men and women, and you notice they don't mention it anymore. Why? Because pretty much everybody now knows that those numbers do not represent society. When you compare men and women, total full-time, women make less. But you can't do that. You have to take a woman doctor and a male doctor in the same field, so, brain surgeon, and compare those wages. And when you do that, women make more. And the same things happen when you do black versus white, Hispanic versus white, Asian versus white. Asians make more than all of us. Is it discrimination against white people because Asians make more? Well, no, because when you run the numbers side by side, they picked higher paying careers than white people did. It's the exact same thing here. Okay, guys. So someone needs to do something, and I don't know what it is, to wake people up about the crazy stuff that's being said on TikTok and the internet. Now, I am not a banning person. I don't think this person's speech should be shut down in any way, but we need to research where these people are getting this information. And we need to also make sure that stuff like this is not taught in schools, because if this is what they're taught in schools, we got a very scary future coming up. Once again, whenever you are othering an entire group of people, that's when violence happens. Okay, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe.